Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Soul and Social. My name is Tarah, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Renee, and we are joined by a fabulous guest all the way from down south from where we are, Miss Jessica Dugas. Welcome, girl. I'm so excited to have you here. She's actually a personal friend of mine. She's the host of the Breakthrough Show, which is pretty fantastic. If you guys haven't caught it, you're going to have to check it out. I'm just going to talk about Jessica for a second, and then we're going to get into this conversation. Jessica is the owner of Just Determined, the former founding member of the Moms Online Mastermind. She's an international best-selling author, creatrix of Your Life, Illuminated Insiders Circle. She's a skilled intuitive empath, a certified Reiki Master and Teacher, certified AromaTouch Technique practitioner, wellness advocate. What's going on with me today? This happened like last time too, hey?
I was just saying Jupiter went retrograde, so maybe that's go on though.
OMG. She's a student of Astro Herbalism, entrepreneurial wife, homeschooling mom of 6 beautiful children. She's committed to helping women, especially moms, reduce the stress and overwhelm in their lives by encouraging them to discover a balance that works for them. As a multi-passionate woman, you can find her serving others through her many modalities, including, but not limited to, Reiki stress-relieving techniques, meditation, intuitive readings, community creation, accountability, essential oil education, and more. There we go.
That's it.
Wow.
It's impressive. And we have like some super exciting things to talk about today. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't even think Renee knows what we're going to talk about.
I don't. I just popped in and I wasn't privy.
So glad you could be here.
I'm just, like I just said before, I'm glad there isn't a vacuum going behind me and I'm home and yeah, we're good. Let's do this, ladies.
We are golden. Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait. Can we just talk about it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The colors of the rainbow.
The colors of the rainbow. Well, that was close, but it's colors.
No, I look at it as the colors of the rainbow is what I should mean.
I mean, that's what we know when we talk about colors. That's what we know from when we're little, right? Like the rainbow is what has colors. And to talk about the colors of the moon is not necessarily something that we talk about really, unless it's like a blood moon or something that obviously changes color. And so anyway, colors of the moon. First of all, I want to say thank you guys for having me on today, because last time I was on, we were talking about the breakthrough, right? And I was like in my car, and Donna was having all kinds of tech issues, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad to come on today, not in my car, and hopefully without tech issues. At least that's what it seems like for now. So
I know, I was thinking we probably should have a little bit more of an introduction and stuff, but like I am so giddy excited that I can't contain myself. We should talk about your story and get to know you a little bit more and all that stuff, but I'm like, I want to talk about the fun stuff.
No, I mean, the bio is pretty, like, I mean, that's who I am in a nutshell. I'm a lot of things. And Heather, hi Heather. And so anyway, yeah, I will give you a little bit of backstory. So you're talking about colors of the moon, and it's my oracle cards that I'm going to be coming out with on the 20th. And I just did a pre-launch in my community for them, and it went really well. But give you a little bit of backstory. So my whole life, even before I got into recognizing that I was intuitive or doing that for work or anything like that, I would always be the person, the child that had crazy, I mean, just the weirdest dreams you've ever, I mean, no kind of sense at all. Not even one dream that ever made any sense. I mean, we're talking about, like, you know, middle of the field, middle of the night, a pig with a flowered hat, like no sense at all. So I would always wake up like completely confused, especially as I got older, and people would say things like, your dreams have meaning. And I'm like, I must be really messed up then. I don't know what you're talking about. So So back in November of last year, I went to sleep. I had a dream about the connection between our lunar phases, which I've been teaching my community and my clients about flowing with the lunar phases and stuff for a little over a year now. And about the connection between the lunar phases and our chakra system, so our energy points. And the way that the dream kind of looked is that I watched the moon going through the phases, and they would be different colors, and you would see them like come down from the sky and connect with these different, our chakras, the different energy points in my body. I watched the moon phase come down and go into that particular area of my body. And for some reason, I woke up in the morning and it just made all the sense in the world to me. And it was something that I wasn't like, oh, that was a really cute pig with a flowered hat on. Like it just made a lot of sense to me. And I think the reason why is that, so I grew up in a really pretty traditional Catholic family. I wasn't considered spiritual by any means, but one of the things that I recognized, like if I would go to a friend's church or I would read something about spirituality or another religion or something, I would always be the one that would see so many similarities, like rather than differences. It wasn't like, you know, well, this is way different than my belief or my religion. I would see so many things that just crossed the boundaries and crossed the borders. And so when I started kind of on my spiritual journey back in 2010, that was one of the things that really stood out to me as I adopted different practices, like following the lunar cycle and learning about the chakra system. And when I did my Reiki training, and I just saw so many things that seemed like it was crossing somewhere. Like it was the same information, just said a different way, or said in a way that, it's like, oh, this feels like it's coming from the same place. And so that's how it was when I had this dream. I thought, you know, there really are so many similarities between the energy points within our energetic being and the lunar phases that it just made sense for me to put them together. And so fast forward back to when I had the dream, I woke up and immediately I got my phone and I'm like writing it down, because here I am with a dream that finally made sense. And I'm like, this is obviously a sign. So I'm like writing it all down. And I said immediately, this is going to be taught in a way that is really easy to understand. And I'm going to do it through cards. And I just knew right then that that's how I was going to do it. And I went to, it was almost like I was on autopilot. I went that afternoon to Hobby Lobby and bought watercolor paint. And I haven't painted in probably since like in years, years and years. I used to love to paint, but I haven't in years. And proceeded to paint what came to be the 8 images of the lunar phases for the cards. And the back image, which is also the image on the cover, the different phases. And then over the last 6 months, that's all I've been doing is working on kind of what I consider to be hand in hand with spirit, with coming up with the extended meanings of the different cards, and it's been a fun journey, and they're coming out soon. Yay.
Yay. Okay. So I have to say, I know Renee's probably like has some questions, but I'm just going to talk.
No, you go ahead.
Because I'm just excited about this. But this is, so it's so funny because I remember you calling me, or not calling me, but you like messaged me in the morning and you're like, I have to download. And she sent me all these photographs of all these paintings that she had done. And I'm like, were you up all night long? She's like, oh yeah. But they were so beautiful. They're so beautiful. You have to like give us a little more sneak peek. But okay, that's all I had to say.
There is no way. I'm trying a new leaf. I'm letting Tarah do the questions. I'll pop one in once in a while because I tend to talk a lot. So better.
Well, I can show you some of the different ones if you want, what they look like.
That would be amazing.
Okay, so this is one of the new moon goes with the root chakra. That's that one. See that one? And then we go up to the sacral chakra, which is the crescent moon.
That's beautiful.
That one. And then solar plexus chakra, which is the first quarter moon. And then heart chakra, which is the gibbous moon.
Okay, so we're in a gibbous moon right now, aren't we?
We are in, let me see.
Pulling it up.
Store the information in my brain.
Crescent moon.
Yes, we're in the crescent moon. We go into the first quarter moon tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
So
and
what is the card for the crescent moon?
That was the orange one.
So the message on it is network.
Well, this is one of them. So the deck has 48 cards, and each of the it goes from the root chakra to the soul star chakra. Soul star chakra isn't one of the main 7 that are normally talked about. Soul star chakra is here, you know, and I wanted to include that because I feel like that one is really about our relationship with spirit, and I really felt like that was important, and it went so well with the balsamic moon, which is the phase right before the new moon, that is really about rest and reflection and that inner connection, and it just goes so beautifully together. And so there are 6 cards for each of the chakra / moon phases. So that's how that works. And each of them have a different word and affirmation on them that goes with the word.
I love that.
Okay. And then, so let's see. This was the heart chakra and the gibbous moon. And then this is, a lot of people, this is their favorite. This is one of the throat chakra full moon.
Ooh, I love the colors on that.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah, the blue one. And then we have the third eye chakra and the disseminating moon.
Love it.
Jinx buggy.
No turns.
No color punch.
And then the last quarter moon and the crown chakra. I'm trying to go backwards here on the camera.
Oh, I love it.
And then the last one is the balsamic moon and the soul star chakra.
Oh, I love that.
So that's all of them, and they do look like the rainbow, Tarah, when you put them together.
I know, right? That's what I thought.
Awesome.
So I had a deck of cards about chakras. It's called the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, and I love those. And hers are really done by color as well. And one of the things that I loved about her cards was that you could, if you were working with a particular chakra, you could pull just those out and choose from those or work with just those cards. And that's one of the things that I put with these cards is depending on, especially with my inner circle clients that are learning to flow with the moon cycle, all 8 phases, and seeing what that looks like for them, they could take out just, the crescent moon cards today and say, okay, we're in the crescent moon, so I'm just going to work with these and make it really simple. It doesn't have to be, we like to complicate things, I think, a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not at all. Right? No, not even slightly.
We never do that, Tarah.
Ease and flow. Well, so what I really love about what you did with it was what you brought in with the color and like the chakra system, because as you were kind of saying, picked up on these modalities in different areas of your life. I feel that pretty strongly for me too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny, I was just speaking about this recently, how, when I was in massage school, people have heard of chakra stone massages, right? So I learned about all those energy things. And then in design school, we learned about the color psychology and the color and the Kelvin scale and all that, and the chakra system and where that comes from, because of course the architecture gets, brought in and the time frame and how it's evolved. And then of course, energy meditation school, all this stuff. So it's funny, like you're saying, it's just different perspectives. It's the exact same information, but it comes from, different ways. So Heather.
Yeah.
That's
Her and I talk about the rabbit hole a lot. We like to live in there. And I mean, that's, so I'm not quiet about the fact that I'm very Aquarius, and well, frankly, I'm very airy. My natal chart is half in Aquarius and the other half in Libra. And so I'm just always in my head. I'm always in my head all the time, thinking of every possible scenario for every single thing. And so when I was coming into this, spiritual space, it is really easy to get overwhelmed. Extremely easy to get overwhelmed. And then when you're someone like me that overthinks everything, you just complicate it. You complicate it, and it's like, and you end up, here we are in the spiritual space, trying to be more at peace and more connected. And it's like, you end up sometimes, I think, just so down that rabbit hole of different ideas and things that it can get really stressful and overwhelming, which kind of defeats the purpose. And so my goal with these cards was really to keep it very simple. They're cards that someone who's never used cards before can use and not feel confused. I mean, I have what a chakra is in the digital guide that comes with it, because I know that someone's going to pick it up and go, what in the hell is a chakra? Like, so I really wanted to make it easy. And so I included a lot of things with it, especially in the digital guide that I put together that comes with the cards, so that you could very simply pick a card and say, okay, this one says peace, so that means I need to have more peace today. Or you could read the full thing. You can look at the guide and find out, what does the color mean? What does the number 44 on here mean? You could go as deep as you want to go with it. Or you could be just simple and don't even look at the guide and just be like, peace, awesome, I can do peace today.
I love it.
That is awesome. It's a lot of information in one little card, which is so nice. And like you said, I love the fact that you haven't overwhelmed, and the information's there if they want it, but not.
Yeah. I mean, you can get, I mean, I have a lot of decks that I've purchased that come with beautiful books that come in there. And even that can be a little overwhelming sometimes. When I did these, it comes with this is what it comes with in the box.
Love it.
Like it can't get any more simple than that. And it just has the number, the chakra and the moon phase, and what the meaning is, the word in both the upright and reverse. So it's 48 cards, but technically 96 different meanings. And then the affirmation. So this is simple, but then when you open it, there is a link inside to the digital guide, which is over 60 pages.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to, if you're more seasoned, you can go further if you want to. If you don't want to, I mean, there's some people that really they're not real sure coming into the spiritual space what they want to dive into and what they don't. And so maybe an affirmation is at their limit, and that's like, okay, I can do an affirmation, but I don't want to go further than that.
Yeah, I like that. So where can people find the cards? Oops.
So right now they are, I'm working on getting the release ready, and they're going to be ready for sale on April 20th. And so Easter weekend. And you can find them on my website at jessicadugas.com. You'll see my website's in the process of being updated, but you'll see a link there. And you'll be able to, if you go there now, you can put your name in to be on my email list so you don't miss when the release is. And then once the sale goes live on the 20th, you'll be able to order them right from my website.
That's awesome.
So awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Uh-huh.
So Jessica, just so people can get to know you a little bit more, because I know, as you said at the beginning of the show, you were on the Canadian Social, and then of course we made the switch, and we didn't really have an opportunity that time to talk a little bit more about you and in your journey, because I'm just curious, when you were 5, did you think you were going to create a whole line of cards and, paint them all, right? So
No.
you were a fellow co-author in the Shine book, and I know you touched on a really amazing story in your journey. It's really cool. I know you really well. We know our natal charts extremely well too. We're like, it's so interesting. You'd be shocked, but that's a secret. So we keep that for ourselves.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up like, I was a good Catholic girl, I went to Catholic school and went to church. I directed the choir in church. I was the youngest church member to ever direct the children's choir. I directed it for a couple of years. Music's been a big deal for me my whole life. I always felt very connected to whatever spirituality looks like for me at the moment. I always feel very connected to it through the arts in some way, whether it's music or singing or painting or, the whatever. Wouldn't call it dancing that I do, but movement.
Oh, come on.
Movement. So anything artsy like that, I just love. But in the story that I told when I did Shine was that in 2010, I lost my brother, and that was 24 years old, and my grandfather within days of each other. And it really just propelled me into a space of go figure, with my questioning down the rabbit hole, questioning everything. What am I doing with my life? How am I taking care of myself? What kind of mom am I? What kind of partner am I to my spouse? It really just, it changed everything for me. And I watched at the same time people, other people in my family really in such a deep space of grief. And I was too, in a sense, but I was more, for lack of a better word, I was more inspired through the situation that happened, because it really changed my life and the way that I look at everything in it. And the first thing that I sort of started down was a direction to look at my health, because I had a lot of health issues since I was very, very young. And it's still something that I'm working through today, because I had done so much damage to my body in just, something would be wrong. I would get a drug for it, and I would just listen and move on without questioning anything, without paying attention to what my body was saying. And so that was the first direction I went down, was to really look at my health. And I started working with essential oils, and it really changed a lot for me. When I finally, I think I was on 14 different prescription medications when I finally got off of everything. And because I couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, the side effects were worse than what I went to get medication for. And so it really just, that whole journey into looking at my health moved into then starting to understand what mental health plays into it and what spirituality plays into it. And then I began to really be opened even further when one of my daughters got sick. She had a severe intestinal issue, and to the point of where she was going to need surgery. We became a homeschooling family, a plant-based family, like all of this stuff within the last several years, the last 10 years or so. And I really began to look at my own spirituality very differently. I began to feel very disconnected from religion and very connected to God as I envisioned him, and things just changed for me completely. And although I don't think we could ever be in a space of perfection with 6 children, but we're so much farther along on our journey than we were 10 years ago. I'll say that much. Mm-hmm. So no, I would have never pictured myself doing anything like this. But I feel like everything that I had been through and done and experienced up until this point played such a big role in what I'm doing. I even think about often I've been gradually working on writing down stories of growing up with my grandparents, because like I said, they raised me in a Catholic home, but the things that they taught me are so connected to what I know and what I believe now. And if one of the stories that I've told is how my grandfather taught me about the law of attraction, but mm-hmm. he obviously would have never said the words, law of attraction or anything like that. But he used to get up early in the morning, and I would be woken up by him picking out a tie. He worked for the same company for 53 years and always dressed the same from the time that he went in as an apprentice until he retired as a senior draftsman. And I complaining about my horrid wool gray skirt that I had to wear for Catholic school. And I remember him saying, "Jessica, you got to dress for the part you want." Mm. And so it's funny how, and that's another one of those examples of, it's not necessarily the same belief by what we call it, but it's the same concept. It's mm-hmm. the same things that were being taught, just by a different name, And so, mm-hmm. So anyway, I think that everything that I've kind of dealt with and been through has been just such a huge part of my journey. And I think that I don't necessarily connect in the same way, obviously, to a lot of the people that I used to be connected to, because they don't really get how I've gone from kind of one extreme to the other. But I just think that everybody's journey is unique and important mm-hmm. to them, and that's what's most important, I think. So even if they don't get like, oh she was like a Catholic choir director and now she comes out with oracle cards, like what in the world is going on there? You don't have to
Heather says okay. She needs to start dressing in a we need to do a Wonder Woman show.
Yeah, I do too.
I love it.
Heather, you're onto something.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have a dress-up day on. Maybe we'll do something for Halloween on the Breakthrough next year.
It's funny.
We'll do a Wonder Woman episode here then, Renee. Hey.
Yes, I think we should. We should dress up.
Will we finally get to see Tarah's Pocahontas outfit?
So much, right? So much. Yeah, the one that I have in my closet, right? I keep it on all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've never seen her not in it except on the show.
That's mm-hmm. all I wear around town. Yeah.
It is.
The things we learn about each other.
Right.
Hilarious.
You're welcome, Tarah. You're welcome.
So it's funny.
Hey, Russ is here.
Hey, Russ. It's funny, Jessica, you talking about, the differences or the relationship, growing up in a Catholic school Catholic church. I've lost use of my tongue today. And, going into more or attracted to more of a spiritual practice, I can very much relate to that. And it was funny because I downloaded actually yesterday the book, Brene Brown's book, Rising Strong as a Spiritual Practice. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting because this morning she was talking about how she's Catholic. She goes to a Catholic church and how she actually says her own prayers. She doesn't recite the prayers that they're reciting, but she says her own out loud, and how she goes to break bread with her fellow she called it God believers, because she is a God believer. But her language and her practice are different from what they do on Sunday. So it was neat seeing another person combine, you know, feeling the same, like they don't identify with the religious beliefs or the ideologies, but at the same time still believing in God and having a spiritual practice, you know, because they can be married. And I don't think, like you're saying, I don't think you ever have to choose. But growing up in a very religious family, you do feel like you need to fit inside that box or that mold. And you can't kind of deviate from that. And, you know, or you put on this mask and this facade to appease one group, but your true self is hiding behind that.
Yeah.
So it is, I think a lot of people struggle with that. And I think that's something, you know, that you brought up, that it's really interesting. It's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I think I felt so lucky with the community that I have around me now, because part of my my inner circle is that I put out a magazine once a month. And in the magazine this month, we were talking about perfect timing for everything. And I always put some kind of quote or something at the beginning of the magazine after my editor's note. And this month I thought there's nothing better than putting the chapter 3 from Ecclesiastes in there, which in the Bible talks about a time for everything. And so I put that in there, and there's zero judgment from my community. There's zero anybody going, well, I don't read the Bible, and well, I don't, you know, believe.
I find that offensive.
Yeah, no, there's none of that. It's completely like they get it, and it's okay to draw on. If something inspires you and makes you feel good and helps you to grow, there is nothing wrong in drawing on inspiration for that from anywhere. You know, as long as it's something that is lifting you up and making you feel good and helping you on your journey. And so I put it in there, and there was no like, could you imagine if I got up in the middle of, you know, to pray in the middle of a Catholic church and was like, thank you, God, for my chakras. Like, could you?
Intervention right now.
I know. Throw the holy water on her, would you?
She's going to burn and sizzle with the water.
No, you're going to get me laughing now. Stop it.
Is so true. And that's, you know, I think there just needs to be more acceptance. And I know, like, my brother and I have had this discussion many times, because we speak a very different language when it comes to our beliefs. And it doesn't mean one is more right than the other. It just means as people, we need to find a way to just respect each other and listen to each other's language without having judgment. You know, and I think underneath all of our languages religiously and ideologies is just love and not judging. And I think, you know, you're right with the chakras. In each religion, they have their own language for chakras. And it doesn't mean we're speaking, you know, to any other deity. It just means we're recognizing in the language that fits us what our body is doing and the energy in it. And I think, you know, even the moon cards and the moon cycles, it all goes together just energetically and spiritually, and we are affected by all of it, no matter what religious belief that you have.
Yeah. And I mean, I could never understand how, like, when I was going to church all the time, I could never understand how, if God made everything, why do we have to ignore some of what he made? Like, here I was going down my Aquarian rabbit hole of what's going on. Why do we have to do that? Why?
It's funny, because I remember my best friend when I was growing up was a Jehovah's Witness. And I was brought up very Pentecostal, which is very charismatic and evangelistic, you know, very out there. And I remember sitting on a park bench, and she's like, well, you need to be Jehovah's Witness or you're going to go to hell. And I'm like, well, you need to be Pentecostal or you're going to go to hell. And then I'm like, why? Like, who's right here? Like, everybody thinks everybody's going to heaven, and how about we just all go to heaven?
How about that?
Right? I'm happy. Well, you know, and another thing too that's really cool, and I love to talk about too, is with the chakra systems and the vibrational sounds. And that's, I think, something that I think all three of us probably resonate with. And we've got Russ on, he plays too. We had him on the show back on Canadian Social. And, you know, it's interesting how those vibrational sounds also associate with the chakras. And, you know, when we put music on, it changes our, you know, it changes our vibration, right? And so I think it's also like looking at how, you know, those energy centers tap in as a whole, right? So it's super cool how interconnected it all is, and how
it is.
You know, it's a tool that can be used that we don't really pay attention to.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Jessica.
No, I was just going to say so about 14 years before my grandfather passed away, he had a stroke and was unable to walk or talk or anything for the remainder of when he was alive. And when he was in nursing home for a little while, I wanted to volunteer there, and I was doing a lot of work with the recreation department, and I would come in and I would sing songs and stuff with the residents. And even with a lot of them that would have like Alzheimer's and dementia and couldn't even remember where they were, you would put on a song and they would be completely just like transformed. And that was originally, when I was a teenager, what I wanted to do for work was music therapy, because I just saw what an incredible difference, you know, music makes and energy makes and sounds makes. And, you know, so even then, when I knew nothing about what I know now, I could see so many things, you know, that were available to us that, you know, people just didn't talk about a whole lot.
No, and I think music is so powerful. And, you know, I think you're right. And even with mental health, you look at what you surround yourself, especially with mental health, can affect where you go on that cycle. And I think, you know, like Tarah said, the sound and all that and raising our vibration, we need more of that. There is so much mental health and so many health problems and all of it right now, that I think anything we can do is a good thing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I love it.
Deep
so
thought.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jess, can you tell us, I don't know, maybe you have like a nugget you want to leave us with, and then we should let everybody know where we can find you. Of course, we're always going to drop the links for everything below, but of course I need to be mindful of your time, because we could talk like woo all day. We could talk nerdy to me, hey?
Talk spiritual to me, baby.
All day long.
I would love to.
We said sassy, right?
You are sassy.
We have fun in the green room. We have fun in the green room sometimes, but she has milk and cookies in her green room.
I can't see it.
You can't see it.
Not at all.
What are you talking about? I wanted to share choose a card for us all today, if I could do that, to leave us with.
Love it.
A little piece of information or something. And then you can find everything about me at jessicadugas.com. And I also have a community on Facebook called Illuminate Your Spirit. And one of the things that I love about that is that that's a place where you can connect with me in a safe space. If you get the cards and you want to ask a question, there's a ton of other people in there who also have the cards. It's a safe space to feel like you can ask the questions you want to ask. And that's something I think that really sets things apart a little bit, because sometimes I've ordered cards before and it's like, I don't really get this, or I really want to talk to them and see what they meant by this, or something like that. And you can't really have that kind of personal relationship. So Illuminate Your Spirit is the name of the community on Facebook, and would love to have you in there to connect. And I love the card that I picked for us today. It's joy. It's card number 30. So this is from the throat chakra. So this is really, when we think about joy, we want to talk about expressing that joy in some way. And it says, I am able to see and feel the joy in each area of my life. That's the affirmation. And one of the things I want to share with you is that, so when you open the box of cards, on each side, and this is, I'm glad that the joy one came up. There are 2 affirmations on each side. I don't know if you could see both of them, but this one says, in recognizing an abundance of choices, I choose joy. And the other one is my absolute favorite affirmation on the other side, and it says, today is the best day of my life so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that we picked joy today. Yay.
Truth bumps. Woo.
Snap.
Yeah.
Heart. How can you not love that, right? 3 hearts are better than 1.
Hit the heart button right now, people.
Heart, Jess. Heart. You're missing it. We were sync hearting.
Her heart's way bigger than my heart.
I was down the rabbit hole again. My bad.
Heather, where are you? We need
Yeah,
you.
I know. I was thinking
Heather.
Well, thank you
Heather.
so much, Jessica, for joining us. And it's always so great to have you on. And I am so excited about your deck. And I knew nothing about any of this. I literally just logged on today, and here we are. Yeah, Tarah kept it.
This is actually the premiere. Like, I have
I'm
not
allowed. I wasn't allowed to say anything. I'm under oath, like contract, like, virtual signature and all.
Blood
Wow.
sample, firstborn child. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, now you know how much I kept my word, Jess. You were right from her.
You did, but no, I've only talked about it in my community, really. I mean, my email list, I might have said something a couple of times, but for the most part, I mean, I've kept it very, I wanted people that are closest to me, that know me really well, people that are my clients and my friends, to work with them and experience them before throwing them into the pond.
Black hole. Well, pond's a lot nicer than a hole, so
A black hole, yes.
Yeah.
You found
I'm
Heather.
super excited about that, and we'll have to get our hands on a couple of decks here. Hey, Tarah, with a little wine and Greek food, we could have some fun.
Yeah. I'm like looking around. I'm like, I have other goodies. Okay, yeah.
I think I completely support some kind of ceremony when you get your cards, and wine can be a great part of that.
It is, and it's good for the resveratrol, and it's just good for your heart.
Yeah, and it's purple, which is
joy.
Like, crown chakra. So that's
It is.
So good.
It is.
It's all about
So
layering.
Yeah.
Wine can help you connect with many chakras. I mean, I won't get into it, but
it sure can.
It also raises your dance move vibration.
It can also get you pregnant.
Sacral chakra.
Disclaimer. We're just throwing out every disclaimer right now.
Don't forget.
And after you get pregnant, your kids make sure you're grounded real fast. So that's where the root chakra comes in.
Well, thank you so much. And I know you have 6 little babinos to get back to.
Yes.
So we appreciate you coming on, and we will share your links below so people can get a set of these cards or a deck of these cards for themselves. And yeah, we'll have
I think we should end on a chair dance. And like us, share us, heart us, tell your friends. Thank you for your time. Renee just said all that. Where's your chair dance moves? Here we go. Ready? Okay.
I can't floss right
now. And that has been an amazing episode of the Soul and Social.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. We value your time. Please like, share, love, comment below. We love to hear from you. And we will see you next Thursday. What's that, Tarah?
And embrace joy today.
Embrace joy and love, and stop judging. Just hug each other. I think the world just needs to hug each other.
Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs.